We are very excited and grateful to have Zahra Lee with us today. Zahra Carol Lee is a Muqqadam Murrabi Ruhi teacher in Boston, Massachusetts, and the title of Muqqadam Murrabi Ruhi is somebody that really cares for a community, a large community, which she does. She co-chairs the Northeast Regional Muqqadam Naqib Council of the Shadliya Sufi community. She's also the founder and sustainer of weekly Tarika and Tauba calls. Zahra has been doing Sufi healings and prophetic cuppings for over 15 years with people, art and spaces, and coordinates the Sufi School Northeast events. She's a recent graduate of the University of Spiritual Healing and Sufism, Masters of Divinity program, and did her practicum on holistic healing for those with substance addiction called A Journey Back to Love. In working with clients, family, friends, and beloveds, she regularly explores and uses alternative and natural modalities and discovered that EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping, is a very easy, helpful, and effective method to release especially stubborn, old, and deep pictures and voices. Today, she'll do live demonstrations and lead us in experiencing the techniques for ourselves to be able to share it with others, inshallah. Her teaching today is releasing pictures and voices quickly, EFT tapping with Sufi prayers, and the 99 qualities of Allah. Zahra, welcome, and thank you for being with us today.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Abdullah. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here today to share with everyone. And it's awesome to see all these old friends and people I haven't seen for a while, see their names and their faces appearing on the little strip. So thank you so much for joining us today. So let's start with the Fatiha, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين Ameen, ameen, ameen. So, assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. And as Abdullah mentioned, I've done probably lots of sessions, hundreds over the years, and I'm always fascinated and trying different modalities to supplement the Sufi practices and healings that we learned at the university or through CD over the years. And most of them have been natural remedies like flower essences and herbs, or acupuncture, the Ho'oponopono, Hawaiian forgiveness prayer, or nonviolent communication, and adding the practices, integrating them or mixing them. I find that it's been really helpful in supporting people and making a difference in their healing and breaking the pictures, especially with ones that are difficult for people. And how I came across EFT when my son was very young and he was having a lot of challenges, a friend recommended EFT. And at that time, I didn't understand it or didn't try it, but the practice came back to me at some point. And I started using it first on myself. And I know many of you either may have already know it and know how to use it, and probably already teaching some of your clients. I know also there's many people who've never heard of it or are listening on the phone. So I am going to go over some basic, very basic things so that everybody can be on the same page when we do some of the trial runs a little bit later. So for those who are not familiar with EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping, it is something that anyone at any age can learn and can use, whether they're adults or children. And there's lots of different techniques. The one that I like, I have gravitated to the most is ones that Nick Ortner and his sister Jessica Ortner have been teaching on different seminars, and there's a lot of YouTube videos, so I invite people to explore the techniques. And there's tapping for everything. You can tap for trauma, you can tap for weight loss, you can tap for fear, anxiety, insomnia, there's addictions, there's any topic, any stress or illness, there's tapping videos that are out there that are pretty helpful, and practitioners. So, I invite people to do that. Nick Ortner has done a lot of work with children, and again, I just want to mention that because it's, as young people can learn it. It's very simple to learn. He has a wonderful project that he started with Sandy Hook parents and the teachers and the kids after the shootings, where he quietly, just started volunteering and offering his services and teaching the community there in Connecticut. And he started a project in Rwanda with orphans who were survivors of the genocide there. And the children taught each other, and there were like hundreds of children in the orphanage, and they helped each other, and they were able to overcome a lot of the anxieties and traumas that they experienced, and they grew up to be able to be adults that were able to help each other and serve in their communities and be in the world without the extreme traumas that they experienced. And to come up the things that I have, also want to let people know, it's something that you can do for yourself, and it helps you, and you can help your clients. But even when you are doing it for yourself, it does affect it. Okay? There's a funny noise there. So, for example, even if you maybe you have a child or someone in your family that you want to help, but they may not be open to tapping, and you're concerned about them. If you do the tapping on yourself for whatever emotions and stress that you're having, it actually will affect and help the other person too. And I have a couple of examples where I worked with parents, and they had, both of them, they had teenagers, and one of them had some serious mental health issues, suicidal. Another one was having a lot of stress between themselves and their child, and the teenager wasn't talking to them and hadn't talked to them for like years. And that with the tapping, one of the parents, the mom, after just doing like one session, just did it with her over the phone and told her how to do it. All of a sudden, her daughter like hugged her and said something like, I love you, Mom. And she was just so shocked that for years her daughter just like didn't talk to her, sort of ignored her, and out of the blue just started being nice to her. And she was really thrilled. And that was just from tapping once. And also the same thing with the other parent who had a son who was suicidal, and she was very stressed out, and she was trying to do everything to help her son, and he was hospitalized, and he didn't want to talk to her. He was blaming her for a lot of his concerns and issues. And she did tapping for herself, so she could just feel like he was going to be okay, and that he's going to receive the help he needs. And it helped her calm down so that she felt more hopeful. But again, how it impacted him was that he started actually being more open to her, and he started, out of the blue, just started being nicer to her and talking more with his mom. So again, it wasn't her intention, or either one of these people. I don't know what that was, Abdullah. Is that me?
No, it's people coming in and not muting themselves. But just keep the ones are. I'll manage the
Thank you.
control. Yeah.
Right, thank you. So then the parents weren't intentionally trying to affect their child or change their child's behavior, but because they were able to help themselves and connect to Allah or God, whatever the higher name of the higher power that we brought in. Because usually I will do that. I'll invite people to, if they're open to use the name of Allah or God, if they're, and both these people happen to be not Sufis, but they were open to being willing to use the name of Allah. And it really helped them feel like be calmer, feel more the presence of divine support. And because of that, their child started behaving differently. So I want to, for those who don't know the spots, and I'm sorry this will be old news for some of you who do know the spots, I want to, if you see me visually, I know some people on the phone, one of the spots we'll start with is the eyebrow swap. And this is connected to acupressure at acupuncture points. So this is a bladder meridian. So people who can see me, this is like the beginning of your eyebrow. And when you tap here, you can release trauma, hurt, or sadness, any kind of frustration, and it allows more inner peace and emotional healing to occur. The next spot is the sort of end of your eyebrow, called the side of the eye. And here is the gallbladder meridian. And what this does, it helps you release any anger, rage, resentment, fear of changes. And you can have more clarity and compassion and understanding. And the next spot is under your eye. So it's the fleshy part of your eye. And when you do these tapping, just, do it gently. Don't do it too hard, to hurt yourself. And this is the stomach meridian. And this releases fear, anxiety, worry, disappointment, nervousness, feelings of feeling empty, and allows more contentment, helps you feel more safe and calm. And the next spot is under your nose, and it's like that little indentation, where your teeth are, so you're tapping to sort of feel your teeth. And that's the governing meridian. And what that does is it helps you release shame, guilt, grief, embarrassment, powerlessness, fear of failure, any fear of ridicule. And it allows more self-empowerment, self-acceptance, and compassion. The next spot is a chin, right under your lip. It's like a little dent. And this is a central meridian. And this helps you release confusion, uncertainty, shame, embarrassment, second-guessing any decisions you're making, and allows more certainty, clarity, self-acceptance, self-confidence. The next spot, so here's your collarbone. So if you find your collarbone, it's about, about an inch under, sort of, you can tap around that area. And so this is a kidney meridian. And the kidney meridian helps you release any worries, indecision, any places that you feel stuck, general stress. So you can allow more ease in moving forward in your life, feeling more confident and more clear. The next spot, let me see, I don't know if you guys can see me. I might have to stand up a little bit. So this is a section, it's right under your, under your arm, along the rib cage, and it's above your hips. And this is the spleen meridian. So if for women, it's sort of like where your bra strap would be. And, again, it's sort of like where the rib cage is. So you sort of look like you're a monkey when you do it. It looks funny, but it's very helpful. So this helps you release any guilt, assessing, worrying, hopelessness, feeling insecure of this poor self-esteem, and allows you to have more clarity, confidence, calm, compassion, help for others. And the next spot is top of your head. And this is the 100 meeting points meridian. And this helps you release that voice of the inner critic. It places where you're overthinking, what they call the gerbil wheel thinking, if there's lack of focus. And you tap there, you can have more insight, more spiritual connection, wisdom, and focus. You have more intuition. And another spot we're going to focus on today is it's like your belly area and your hips. I'm going to stand up, see if I can show you guys. Let's see. All right. So here's a belly button. Here's my belly button. And so it's sort of, here's your belly button. It's like right underneath. So there's two spots, sort of like there's some hip bones over there. Right? And you can sort of tap anywhere around that area. So under your belly button and your hip bone. And this is right under your belly button is the survival center. So that helps release things like if there's any kind of trauma, abuse, violence, if you have experienced some kind of accident or some kind of violation in your personal space, this helps release those kind of emotions there. And then on each side, on the left and the right, you're releasing feelings of betrayal by others or by self-betrayal and rejection and criticism, judgment, and feelings of abandonment. So that's a spot that I'll be also adding in and showing you, as I find that really helpful. And a lot of times, again, like I said, I started doing this on myself first because I found I need to do that. And a lot of times for myself, and I recommend if you haven't done it before, try it on yourself. It's a great tool for self-healing and just releasing it could be anything. Someone cut you off when you're driving and it stressed you out, you can tap on that. You can tap for anything just to keep yourself clear. A lot of times I find myself tapping when I am I'm doing salat and something comes up and I will tap to release it. And that's how I started tapping with some of those prayers and the qualities because I found it helpful. So those are the spots. And so let's do some practice runs. And what we, so that people who haven't done it before, they'll get a sense of generally what it's like before you add the practices, the Sufi prayers and the qualities. And also, so people can experience, generally what it's like. So we're going to start with, there's different ways to do it. So whatever way, people want to do it because you're used to it, feel free to go ahead and try that. Like some people will do what they call a karate chop when you sort of do the side of your hand where your pinky to your wrist, there's a fleshy part and you can pick something to focus on. So I'm going to just pick something that's sort of general and everybody can just pick something that they might find that's causing them some kind of anxiety or stress. Okay, so we're going to say so there's different ways to do it. So I'm going to do a very typical way. Even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. Even though I'm feeling really stressed and anxious in this moment, I love and accept myself completely. So you say this 3 times. Even though I feel really anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. Okay, so that's 3 times. So now you start with the beginning of your eyebrow. And you keep repeating the same phrase. And before, and also when you're doing this, just gauge yourself at your level of stress and anxiety. Is it a 10? Is it an 8? Is it a 7? Whatever it is, just be aware of what it is when you're starting. Because it's helpful to know that it's shifted. So, just be aware you pick your number. So I'm going to make up my number. I'm going to say it's a 8. So even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. And I'm tapping the beginning of my eyebrow. So I can say that a couple of times. Even though I'm still tapping the same spot, even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. So now I'm going to move to the edge of the end of the eyebrow or the edge of the eye, or sort of a bony part. So even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. Even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. Now I'm going to go under my eye, the fleshy part. Even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. Even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. I'm going under the nose. Even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. Even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. Now under your chin. Even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. Even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. And I'm going under the collarbone, anywhere in the chest area. Even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. Even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. I'm going to under the arm area. Again, it's like in your rib cage on the side. Even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. Even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. Going to the top of the head. Even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. Even though I feel anxious and stressed, I love and accept myself completely. Okay, take a breath. Okay, and just check in with yourself. Just notice, from a scale of 1 to 10, if you started out with, my number was 8. So just check, do you notice what it would be now? Is it like 4 or 5 or 7? Whatever the number is, you can continue to tap until that number goes down for you. So that's a simple way of how that practice works. And some people cannot, it's really hard for them to say, even though I feel, I love it, they can't say, I love and accept myself completely. For some people, that does not work. And that's okay. If that makes it difficult for you to do this tapping, you don't have to say it. But for some people, that is very helpful. That's a sort of a traditional common way of doing it. So whatever works for you, alhamdulillah, just go ahead and do that. So those are the spots. So now let's try it with, I like people to, pick a situation that is a real one for you, that is causing you any kind of stress and anxiety. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a minute or two to just think of some situation so that we can do this with the qualities and some practices so that you can just get a sense of like how this works. So take your time, and we'll do it a bunch of times instead of that was just once, just to show people the spots. And I'll continue to prompt people to do the spots because I know some people are on their phone. And it's helpful to be able to name an emotion. So if you're feeling fear, anxiety, anger, hate, whatever it is it at yourself or somebody, the more specific you are, it's helpful. And so inshallah, let you guys, pick something. And also we're going to pick a statement. So invite people to, have a simple statement that you want to, that states your situation. I'm going to make something up so that, people have, I'll be saying it, but you will just say your own situation or sentence so that you can be able to use this exercise. Okay. So for example, I was so upset and I get so scared when I see a pit bull because I got bit by a pit bull before. So I am so afraid of pit bulls. And so I'm going to say that out loud. So I'm going to do my tapping on being afraid of dogs. Okay, so, but whatever you're afraid of, or it's some situations causing you any kind of suffering or pain, you're going to pick that. But again, pick something specific. Okay, and then we're gonna start the exercise. And what happens is sometimes you're going to start with a statement, and it can shift to something else, and that is perfectly okay. So even if I'm say I'm going to start with the dog, then all of a sudden I might shift to some other memory or experience, and that's perfectly fine. So then you're going to tap on that and just keep going with that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to set aside. And we're going to start with bringing in the Sufi practices. So what I usually do is, I might do the Fatiha or just say, Allah, I am so afraid of dogs, and please help me not be so afraid of dogs because I got bit by one. So I'll say something like that. So Allah, please help me not be so afraid of dogs. I'm so afraid of dogs when I see them and I'm walking down the street. Allah, please help me not be so afraid of seeing dogs because I got bit by a dog when I was 5. Then I'll say something like that. So now you start tapping. Allah, please help me release this place where I'm so afraid of dogs. Allah, please help me release this place where I'm so afraid of dogs. Allah, please help me release this place where I'm so afraid of dogs. Allah, please help me release the fear from my being because I'm so afraid of dogs. Allah, please help me release the fear from my body. I get so afraid when I see dogs, even if they're across the street. So you can say the same thing, or you can sort of have a story and talk it out loud. And that's okay. So I was going to be in my eyebrow, side of my eyebrow. Sorry, I forgot to tell people. And as you're tapping, you can, as long as you go into these spots and you're moving, you can tap as many times as you like in each spot. So now I'm under the eye, going under the nose, asking Allah to help me release the fear I've kept in my body. Now I'm in chin. Allah, please help me release this place, these places where I carry fear. I feel it in my belly. Allah, now I'm in my collarbone. Allah, please help me release this fear. There's so many dogs in my neighborhood. When I walk down the street, I get so afraid. Now under my arm. Allah, please help me release this fear. Top of my head. Allah, please help me release this fear. And now I'm going to do Astaghfirullah Azim. Astaghfirullah Azim. Allah, please help me release the fear. I'm doing the beginning of my eyebrow. Allah, please help. Astaghfirullah Azim. Side the eye. Astaghfirullah Azim. Under the eye. Astaghfirullah Azim. Under your nose. Astaghfirullah Azim. Under your chin. Astaghfirullah Azim. On your collarbone. Astaghfirullah Azim. On the side of your body. Astaghfirullah Azim. Top of your head. Astaghfirullah Azim. Beginning your eyebrow. Astaghfirullah Azim. And as you're saying Astaghfirullah Azim, just continuing to ask Allah to release any pictures or fears or worries. Side of your eye, Astaghfirullah Azim. Under your eye, Astaghfirullah Azim. Under your nose, Astaghfirullah Azim. Under your chin, Astaghfirullah Azim. Your collarbone, Astaghfirullah Azim. Side of under your arm, Astaghfirullah Azim. Top of your head, Astaghfirullah Azim. Eyebrow, Astaghfirullah Azim. Side of your eye, Astaghfirullah Azim. And again, don't tap too hard because it'll give yourself a headache. Just tap. You can touch the spots gently. It works great. Astaghfirullah Azim under your nose, Astaghfirullah Azim. Your chin, Astaghfirullah Azim. Under your tapping acupuncture points, and releasing pictures, illusions, voices. Astaghfirullah Azim. Collarbone. Side of your arm, Astaghfirullah Azim. Top of your head, Astaghfirullah Azim. Okay, so just take a breath. Just check in with yourself. And just noticing, what the number is now, where you are. And I'm going to assume that it's gone down a little bit or a lot, but there's still probably more to do. So we're going to continue. So whatever now that has come up, it might be the same thing, but it might have shifted in some way. It might be, some other concern or picture or memory will come up, or emotion will come up, and that's okay. So now we're going to continue to do the astaghfirullahalazim with that, whatever that has come up. So eyebrow, astaghfirullahalazim. Feeling Allah's mercy and gentleness and support. Astaghfirullahalazim. Side your eye. Astaghfirullahalazim. Astaghfirullahalazim. Under your eye. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Under your nose. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Your chin. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Collarbone. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Side. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Top of your head. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Eyebrow. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Side of your eye. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Under your eye. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Continue to release and let go. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Under your nose. Astaghfirullahalazim. Astaghfirullahalazim. Feeling Allah's mercy and guidance and love. Astaghfirullahalazim. Astaghfirullahalazim. Your chin. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Collarbone. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Side of your body, under your arm. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Top of your head. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Take a breath. Again, just noticing where the number is on a scale of 1 to 10, your emotions, your feelings. Is it 1 on the lower end, 10 on the higher end? Just noticing and being aware. And you can tap on either side of your body. Just stay on the same side if you're doing one side. And you can also do 2 sides at the same time. Thanks for Zuleika. I saw you doing that. Thanks for the reminder. You can tap both sides at the same time. And if you get tired of tapping on one side, you can tap on the other, or you can tap both at the same time. Okay, so we're going to do some more astaghfirullahalazim. When we're doing astaghfirullahalazim, we're emptying and allowing a lot of wash us deeply. And then when we do the qualities, it's going to be bringing in the qualities and filling our being with the qualities. So we're going to do a little bit more of the astaghfirullahalazim. And then I'm going to open the lines and just check in with people. Okay, so I'm going to do both hands so people can see that. And also people on the phone, starting with the eyebrow. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Side of your eye. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Under your eye. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Under your nose. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 You can only use one hand for these parts. Astaghfirullahalazim. Your chin. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Under your collarbone. 2 hands. Astaghfirullahalazim. 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 Astaghfirullahalazim, astaghfirullahalazim. Under your arms, astaghfirullahalazim, 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 astaghfirullahalazim. Top of your head, astaghfirullahalazim, 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 astaghfirullahalazim. One more round. Eyebrow, astaghfirullahalazim, 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 astaghfirullahalazim. Side of your eyes, astaghfirullahalazim, 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 astaghfirullahalazim. Under your eye, astaghfirullahalazim, 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 astaghfirullahalazim. Under your nose, astaghfirullahalazim, 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 astaghfirullahalazim. Under your chin, astaghfirullahalazim, 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 astaghfirullahalazim. Your collarbone, astaghfirullahalazim, 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 astaghfirullahalazim. Sides, astaghfirullahalazim, 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 astaghfirullahalazim. Top of your head, astaghfirullahalazim, 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 astaghfirullahalazim. Okay, take a breath. Okay. Abdullah, can you help me open the lines? I just want to check in with people, what so far, what's happening for them. If people want to share, if they like to.
Sure. Anybody that would like to share with Zahra, just unmute your microphone, or if you're participating from a cell phone, just hit *6.
And also, if you've done tapping before, if you want to share, if you notice a difference tapping with the Astaghfirullahalazim versus not tapping with Astaghfirullahalazim, I'd love to hear if you've noticed a difference for yourself.
Speak up a little, please.
Sabira, I'm sorry I'm at a Panera because I wanted to make sure I could get on the call.
Oh. Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. Hi, Ray.
Hi. The difference when I added Astaghfirullahalazim was profound. I was, I'm in a very cramped space, and it's not really conducive to what we're doing, but I want to be here. And then when I finally actually started adding Astaghfirullahalazim, it was profound, as I say.
Great.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
About verbalizing for something like, I'm starting to type it, but this sounds so glib. I don't mean it to sound this way, for like the shooter, the Sandy Hook shooter or something. And forgive me for, bringing it up, but like what would sort of be a verbalization for that exercise? Even though I was in a terrifying situation and I'm still hurt by it, I invite Allah's mercy. I mean, like what would give an example of?
Yeah. So are you asking for the shooter or for yourself as someone who feels affected by it, or what? Well,
I was instinctively gravitating towards the victim.
Okay.
You're bringing up the shooter as a interesting point, but I was thinking of the victim.
Sure. Yeah. So there's different ways you can do it. If there's an emotion that you're feeling, like say you're feeling really a sense of sadness and you want to release that, I would recommend do that first, for yourself. And if you want to do something for the victim, you can also do that you want to tap away any trauma or suffering or sadness or fear that they may be carrying, so that they can feel love again or safety again or Allah again or God again, that that you can do those kind of say those kind of things, if you like. And sometimes I know that I've done this for myself and other people have said this. Sometimes if we don't know what to say, even if you stop tapping and you go, I don't really know what to say, but I really want to, pray for this person and I want to help them release something. I don't know what it is. And even when you start the tapping, something will, you'll be shown what.
That's very useful. I should have articulated. I was asking actually as a clinician who wants to instruct the victim
Sure.
what they should say.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And again, ask the person, in that moment, what are they feeling the most? If they can articulate, say they just feel like complete terror, or complete, or they feel scared or they feel ashamed, whatever the emotion is, I would recommend, having, inviting them to start there and then, just keep letting whatever unfolds next, the next emotion or next, image that may pop in, then they can tap on that. Like all of a sudden, if they tap on the fear, then maybe, maybe the image of the shooter appears to them and they can tap on like, releasing that image of the shooter, or, it can be, it's very flexible. You can't go wrong with anything.
So I'm sorry for taking the time, but I release the image of the shooter. Like, can you, an actual words to say in that situation for them?
Sure. You can say, so say if I was the person and you can ask them, say, I want to release the fear that, so again, like depending how they're feeling, you say, I want to release this memory of seeing this shooter seeing the shooter. I want to release their face from my being. I want to let go of this memory of being shot, or it could be anything like that.
Excellent. Thank you. That's very helpful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm sure it's helpful for other people too. I think the question is, again, the more specific is very helpful. So it can be anything. Sometimes what I learned from Nick Ortner and his style is that you can start with a story. Like say, I remember when, like for example, this victim, I was, they were a teacher. I was in the classroom teaching, and all of a sudden, the shooter came in, and all the kids were screaming, and they can like tap the whole what they remember, and they can tap that while they're saying that, and it helps them like release it and bring it down like a couple notches so that it's not so like a 10, so that's really helpful too. They can do that way. And again, if people not sure what it is and they just feel like, I just feel afraid and I don't know why, and you can just say that I feel afraid and I don't know why. I feel afraid, I don't know why, and they can just tap on that, and inshallah it'll help them. It'll surface.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm really welcome.
Jamila, did you have a question for Zahra?
Yes, alhamdulillah. I'd love to share this teaching with some friends and some other people. And I was wondering if you could give some sample affirmations or approaches to more physical issues, like physical injuries, cancer, illnesses,
Yes.
More things where people might not actually know or be in touch with any feeling aspects of it.
Yeah, that's a great question. You can tap for everything and anything, physical pain, illness, and there's actually there's a lot of online. There's also tons of examples too, but I'll give you a couple that I'm aware of. So say someone has cancer, and they can do even something simple like, ask God or Allah, or if they don't believe in Allah or God, say, I ask the higher power, or I release, I release the cancer from my body. I see myself healing, letting go of this illness. It could be something like that. You can also, there's levels of, you can tap like each level of the muscle or the skin, or you can like do that specifically too. It's like, I feel I'm healing, my first, I'm healing my liver, I'm healing my spleen, I'm healing my heart, I'm healing this membrane of this artery, you can even be as specific as that. And I'm bringing in healing light. I am feeling the presence of healing. I feel a lot healing my body. I feel God healing, this part of my body. You can, it's very flexible, and you can be very specific and say, all those detailed kind of things, or keep it very general too. It's like I'm releasing the cancer and everything that has been holding the cancer in my body. And, from my mind, from my body, from my soul, from my spirit, from all the people around me, it could be. So there's, those are some general things I can suggest. And again, there's actually a lot of, if you Google any disease, I'm sure there's like lots of videos on each of those diseases in different ways, so they can get some ideas. And how to do that too. And again, if they don't have, if they're not going on YouTube or they don't have time, they can just do that themselves too. Just like try to think of, be creative and think of some things themselves. Affirmations, are helpful. So I hope that answers your question, beloved.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Thank you. It's great.
Zahra, I had a question.
Sure.
Well, thank you very much. I'm watching you. I can see you clearly. But initially, before you get to the eyebrow, I noticed that you have your left hand. Yes, and then you're tapping. How do I explain that to the client? What is the purpose of that part? What's going on there?
Yeah. This is called the setup statement. And I forgot to check like what meridian this is, but it is, how each of the spots is related to an organ and a meridian for healing. So this is too, and I don't remember, I didn't look it up, so I'm sorry, I don't know what it is. You can start there, but you don't have to. That's just one way of doing it. It's called a setup statement. It's sort of like saying, what are you going to focus on? And so you can do that, but you don't have to.
So that's where you would do like the whole story if they're having a problem, kind of focusing in on something.
You can do the short. This is helpful if you're doing like the shorter thing where you say, even though I feel anxious, I love and accept myself completely, or I'm feeling anxious. And you just do it 3 times when you're doing this part here.
Just 3 times.
Yeah, if you want. You don't have to.
And one last question. I noticed that when you initially modeled, you also tapped underneath your belly button.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that yet. I think I have 10 more minutes. I would like to do a little bit more. Yes, you had a question?
Okay. No, that's fine. Go ahead. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah, that's really helpful for releasing any trauma, anything that is like people who have fear, anxiety, safety issues. That's a really good spot. And for weight loss, that's like any like child, stuff. Any is also down there. PTSD, all these places. A lot of stuff is held in the belly. So I would like to, if possible, to do some of the qualities. And I also want to let people know, if you're trying to clear the shaitan, you can tap and use either A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim, and while you're tapping, or you can do Alanuka billah natala atama, which is another phrase of banishing the shaitan. So I'm not going to do that one with you guys today, but just so that you can use any prayer or quality. Sometimes I'm doing like a bunch of stuff, like the Fatiha while I'm tapping. So whatever you're inspired to do, try it. It works and it's really helpful. You can do La ilaha illallah. You can do, pretty much whatever you're guided to do when you're tapping.
Excuse me, when you're doing the Fatiha, because that's a little bit longer than, for example, A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim.
Yeah.
So if I'm tapping my eyebrows, my inner eyebrows with Al-Fatiha,
Yes.
Would I stay in that location until I complete the Al-Fatiha before I go to the outer eyebrow?
No, you can just sort of tap as you go. So you just say, you know, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. You can just sort of move as you say the Fatiha. You don't have to, you can stay in a spot for a little bit longer, you know, if there's no right or wrong way, like whatever's easier for you. So I tend to just keep moving, because if you keep tapping in the same spot, sometimes it hurts after a while if you do it hard. So I just want to remind people, don't do it too hard, especially if you're doing it for a while. It's important to, like, you do this process, give yourself the time to do it. Like sometimes people just do it like a couple of minutes, or just do it once or twice, a couple of rounds, and they think, oh, it doesn't work. It's like you got to give it a little bit more time. And it's helpful to do, you know, 10, 15 minutes. And sometimes people shift very quickly, not even in that length of time, but you can do it every day for a little bit. So the more you do it, it really helps with clearing things more deeply. So that's something, you know, I want to let people know. And also, if you're doing it for yourself, you know, write things down, because it's helpful too for yourself to, especially as the voices and the images or the stress or the memories, whatever it is, it might shift. So sometimes, you know, you go through like a couple of things while you're tapping. So sometimes it's helpful to just write it down and be specific as possible, you know, so that you can do that. So yes, you can do prayers. You can, it's been really helpful. I've done it with myself and lots of people to do, you know, clearing the shaitan when you are saying that. And, you know, it takes sometimes it takes a bit longer, and sometimes it's not that long. So it's very different for each person. So I like to do quality with people. So we have another like 6 minutes or so, and I can also, you know, take any more questions if there's questions. So let's see. Allah. All right, so let's do Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Allah is the holy. Allah is the holy, seeing us, holy, complete, more than enough, worthy, free of any faults. Well, this quality also washes away any voices and pictures of unworthiness or shame or attachment or addiction. So again, seeing the holiness in ourselves and seeing the holiness in others, because that is how Allah sees us, holy and complete. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. I'm sorry, eyebrow, beginning the eyebrow. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Side of the eye. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Under your eye. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Under your nose. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. 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 On your chin. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. 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 On your collarbone. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. 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 Under your arms. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Top of your head. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Eyebrow. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Side of your eyebrow. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Under your eye. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. On your nose. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. 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 On your chin. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Under your collarbone. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Now I'm going to do the hip area. I'm going to stand up so people can see me. So I know some of you can't do this, but inshallah, those you can. So you can tap like in your under your belly button and your hip area. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. 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 On top of your head. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Eyebrow. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. 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 Side your eye. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. 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 Under your eye. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. And your nose. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Under your chin. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Your collarbone. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. 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 Under your arm. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Hip area. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. Under your belly button. Your stomach area. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. 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 Top your head. Ya Allah, Ya Qudus. 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 Take a breath. And just let yourself receive. So these are very short examples of what you can do. When you're tapping, whether with yourself or you're with a client, sometimes, people's emotions are really strong, so they might be yelling or crying, and that's all good. Like whatever needs to happen, alhamdulillah. And so the beginning part, is the emptying, astaghfirullah azim, or if you're doing shaitanic, clearing out shaitan, allowing yourself to empty, and then do the qualities. Once at a place where, if they're at the emotions or feelings are like 0, 1, 2, very low on a scale of 1 to 10, and then you can do the qualities, or you can do other prayers, whatever you're guided to do. So those are, and alhamdulillah. So that's, all the time I have to show you today. And if anyone has any last minute questions, if that's okay, Abdullah, I know it's
sure. No, that's fine. If anybody has any questions they want to ask Zahra.
I have a question, Zahra.
Yes.
This is Salam, Linda, and I'm wondering, I actually learned this about, 20 years ago or more, but haven't really used it. Do you always do the tapping on yourself, or if you have like a client or your kid or whatever, can you do it on them, or do you actually have to be doing it does the person have to do it on themselves?
It actually works all different ways. I use it for myself when I have my own stuff, which is super helpful. If say someone can't do for themselves or they need help, you can help them tap the spots for them. If they are not willing because they're not interested and don't want to, you can still tap on their behalf and inshallah, see what happens. It can help people still. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions from Zahra? For Zahra?
Assalamu alaikum. Yes.
Alaikum assalam. Hey.
This is Saeed. Is there any information that you have in regards on your website or phone number or anything for more information?
Oh, I don't
in
have a
regards
website,
to this?
but I'm happy to give you my phone number and email. If you want to call me, I'm happy to share. My cell phone is 617-721-5215. And my email address is C as in cat, M as in Mary, E as in elephant, I as in Indiana, L as in llama, E as in elephant, E as in elephant, at comcast.net.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Alhamdulillah. Thanks, Jamila, for taking that up.
Yeah, thanks, Jamila.
She's nice. Yes, I hope, if there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. And
One last question, anybody?
I have a question.
Yes.
This is Zahra from St. Paul, Minnesota. I wonder if it matters whatever particular quality you happen to be working with at the time. Is that an issue at all? Can you work with any quality and go through this process?
You can, what I usually have done is whatever I get in guidance, I'll just go with it. And if the client knows about qualities and uses them, and if they have a quality that they like to use, go with that. You can do it all different ways. If you want to try all the different qualities, and just see how they feel, alhamdulillah, you can do that too.
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, you're welcome.
Okay, I think we're going to say thank you to Zahra. There was somebody that tuned in a little bit late, and the...
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you have a question about it?
Did you have a question that you want to ask? Okay, I think we're going to...
I think he has a sound problem. Okay, I'm having a sound problem. Did you want to type your question?
I was just mentioning that this teaching has been recorded. It'll be up on the Sufi Center Minnesota YouTube site. So if you haven't caught the whole thing, you can go back and either watch it for the first time or watch it again. So inshallah.
And here she says, do you find, oops, I missed it.
Do you see it, Zahra?
It sort of is fleeted by. It said, do you see
Do you find the need for words? Sometimes I just have feelings.
Oh, yeah, you can do that, if you're for yourself. You can just tap the feeling. You don't have to, you can do it silently. It works all different ways. You can do it like anywhere. You can be driving and doing it. You can be like not even tapping and just visualizing the spots and doing it. It works. So yes, you can do it silently. It still works. Yeah, it's very versatile. I just find it super helpful and easy to learn. So yes, alhamdulillah. And I hope it, may Allah bring all of you, peace and love and mercy and blessings from calling His name in whatever form or whatever way He can help you with your lives and other people's lives, inshallah. And thank you so much for joining today. And assalamu alaikum and peace and blessings to everyone. Bye.